Dear scholars, we will begin day 5 of our PhD coursework. Today we have A.N. Rao sir with us. He is the Dean of Research and Publication Division. So may I request Suman Chaudhary to please introduce sir and start the session?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, you are audible. Please go ahead.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Suman Chaudhary, a PhD researcher at Gujarat National Law University, Gandhinagar. Today is 5th day of our coursework, and for this session, we are fortunate to have Dr. Ambati Nageshwar Rao as our resource person. Dr. Rao will be sharing his experience and wisdom on research onion, a systematic approach to designing research methodology. He is serving as a Dean of Research and Publication Division at GNLU. He has over 8.5 years of teaching research experience at GNLU. He holds a PhD from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. His area of teaching and research experience includes social entrepreneurship, research methodology, human resource management, disability studies, minority rights, and women empowerment issues. He was a visiting research fellow at Free University Berlin, Germany, and visiting faculty at Adani Institute of Infrastructure Management, Ahmedabad. He has a number of publications in various national and international journals. To his credit, he has done more than 5 years research projects and funded various organizations that include British Council, NCPCR, Government of Gujarat, MHRD, NCRT, etc. Without taking much of his valuable time, I would like and invite him to begin this lecture. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Suman. Thank you, ma'am. I once again welcome all the PhD scholars. I hope that all of you are enjoying all these sessions. So far, we had good resource persons. I can say that looking at the research profiles, the kind of resource persons we have added, really good. I believe that you are enjoying the sessions. Today, as we are going to discuss, as you mentioned before, we are going to discuss about research onion, a systematic approach to designing research methodology. I'm sure as a part of your entrance exam and your interview, you must already prepared your own research proposal. Some of you must have already done as a part of your UG or LLM course. You might be looking at how you can develop further, or some of you might be looking for new research topics, new areas. So whatever you're doing you're trying to come up with your own research topic, right? Some of you already have it. Some of you are still exploring further, looking at who are the faculty members are available at GNLU, and the kind of experience you hang it, the kind of subject you are teaching it. There are a number of factors plays an important role while selecting your topic. Now, most of the time, being a research scholar, as I mentioned during orientation program as well, I'm not considering as a student. You're all scholars. You know? You're already some of you are in the practice, some of you are already academicians. Being a scholar, you have your own responsibility. Now, if I ask you a question, what you write as a part of your research methodology chapter? Can anybody continue what you include as a part of research methodology chapter? What are the things you should consider? I'm just asking a question.
Sir, your voice was breaking. Could you please repeat the question?
My question is, once you're thinking about writing your research proposal, what comes to your mind first?
Sir, if I am to write my research proposal, then I will consider what is my study area and what are the lacunas or where it is lacking. So I will consider the literature review that I have done so far and the gaps and my future aspirations, what I want to do, how do I want to fill that gap. So I think I will consider that first of all.
Okay.
And
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I would first decide the broad research area.
Broad research area. Okay. Then what else you do? Please continue.
Yes. So after determining the broad research area, then I would look at what particular aspect of that broad research area I can find the research gaps, as Nikita pointed out, and thereafter start finding literature on it, and then drafting of statement of research problem is very important in respect of drafting a good research proposal, because and then so on.
Okay. Now, as you already pointed out, you start with some idea, you start with some problem, or maybe you wanted to fill a particular gap, right? So, as a part of our research, whether you are doing as a part of LLM course, as a doing PhD course, or as a part of academic research course, we are all here to contribute knowledge. So there should be some clarity. What kind of knowledge we are contributing it? Is it subjective? Is it objective? Because each one of us starts with the research with some assumption. You're starting with some kind of research questions or some kind of purpose. You want to take, for instance, I want to start with my research in order to solve a particular problem. I want to bring some policy change. Okay. Maybe another scholar think that they want to fill a gap. Okay. Maybe another scholar feel that there are so many theories. As we are, in case we are coming from social sciences or sociology, anthropology, there are so many theories. I want to test that particular theories. Are these theories are applicable? So what I want to say that we are all here to contribute knowledge. We are here to fill the gap. But the moment once we start doing research, people think that okay, we have to do it quantitative or qualitative. Whether I'm going to use survey method, whether I'm going to use interview method. The moment you ask scholars, they'll tell that I'm using interview method. Mine is empirical study. I'm using survey method. Method is not that what is survey, what is tool you are using, what is interview method you are using it. There are some philosophical understandings one should need to understand what kind of knowledge they are contributing it. Now, when I talk about philosophy, being a research scholar, being a social scientist, whether you're coming from law background, whether you're coming from sociology, anthropology, economics, management, social work, whatever subject is all about it. Why we need to do philosophy? Why we need to understand research philosophy? Believe it or not, at the initial stage, as you are, some of you are, I don't know how many of you have experience with writing research papers. If you're going to write your research objectives, some of you will come up with very over-ambitious objectives. It does not mean that there's nothing wrong, there is something wrong with you. You are thinking that you want to achieve something, but you may not knowing whether it is realistic, is it feasible to conduct it, whether you can able to achieve it. So there are a number of factors plays an important role while designing your research objectives and research questions as well. Okay. Now, first of all, you should have clarity. What is the research purpose? Whether you want to examine experiences, whether you want to understand the experience of a particular group of people from particular minority community, or particular religious community, or a particular being gender, coming from persons suffering with breast cancer. I want to understand their experiences. I don't want to measure certain variables. I don't want to see what is cause and effect relationship. So there should be some purpose why you want to achieve it. After thorough doing review of literature, I think yesterday we had a class on review of literature and problem statements. Now, I'm sure that you will have a lot of clarity how to find out your research gaps. Now, out of this particular research gap, will come up the research purpose, like research objectives and research questions. That plays an important role. What kind of methodology you are going to choose it. Just imagine a tree here. Just let me show you a tree. Now, you are seeing the tree here behind. All of us wanted to contribute. All of us wanted to see the fruits. All of us wanted to see the leaves. But we are not able to understand what is the root cause of this particular fruits, root cause of this particular, what are the branches are there. We need to understand root cause of this particular knowledge contribution, whatever knowledge you are contributing it, from where it is coming. There are a lot of realities, there are a lot of assumptions behind it. But how we are looking at these particular assumptions, realities, we need to understand. So in order to understand this, we have a concept called research onion. We have a famous scholar, academician, Sundar. He came up with this particular concept called research onion. If you look at this particular onion, you can see a lot of layers behind, around 6 layers behind it. Let me tell you, the moment you start doing research, don't think I'm just conducting survey. I'm using interview method. Interview or survey is one component of your research. There's a lot to think, there's a lot to work on it. you're allowed to write in your research methodology chapter. I don't know whether you come across any research methodology thesis, 25 pages. I think all of you have done LLM. I'm sure you must have done a dissertation as a part of LLM course. Just go back to your LLM and think how many pages you have wrote. Is it off page or one page? You see, it's not about number of pages you're writing it. I'm talking about number of components you're including it. How systematically. Take for instance, when I talk about research, starting from Professor Shubrata Udapudi, Professor Shantakumar, and Professor Siddiq, everybody started, they said that research is all about systematic investigation of facts. Means you're doing investigation which is logically interlinked, means by using scientific measures you're conducting study. So each and every layer is having its own role. While, take for instance, I cannot simply take data collection method, interview method without understanding what is the philosophy of my research. Each and every philosophy, we need to look at it from 4 aspects. One is how we the world, how I'm looking at the world, what is the reality? Okay, how should we investigate it? Okay, there is a reality, but how should we investigate it? And how should we best collect the data? And what are the data collection techniques you have to use it? So as a part of today's class, we are going to discuss about all the layers of research onion. As I mentioned, there are a number of philosophies. It's also known as research paradigms. What is meant by paradigm? As you can see here, paradigm is a belief. Each one of us has different assumptions, different beliefs that plays an important role when you are studying it. It guides you how to conduct your research. It guides you how to analyze your research findings. Let me take an example here. I'm just taking an example of views on abortion. Now, if you ask what is your perception about abortion, some of you say that it is a medical procedure. There should be, before taking any decision, you should consult that particular individual, woman, what she is thinking about it. What is her rights? But some of the people say that abortion is a murder. So we should consult the rest of the society, and what society is thinking, according to we have to go ahead with that. So there are different ways we are looking at it. Abortion. As you can see here, we are having elephant. We are having different people. Each one of them looking at elephant in a different manner. Some people say that there is spear, there is sand, there is a wall, it is a rope, it is a snake, it is a tree. No one is wrong here. No one is wrong here. This way, how we perceive the reality that is existing. Our perceptions are based on our beliefs. Take for instance, my perceptions, my beliefs, my assumption depends on the way I brought up it, the way I interacted with my seniors, the way I interacted with my teachers. Maybe the teachers might have motivated. They become role models to me. Maybe the kind of ideology I'm following it. Maybe it may be religious beliefs. It may be particular ideal state, whatever regional background we are coming. There are a number of factors plays why this particular person is talking in this manner, why he's taking this particular stance. Take for instance, when I talk about abortion, each person has his own different assumptions. We need to consider, but which one you have to consider it. So there are a number of methods while considering what is correct, what is wrong here. Now, if you look at this research onion, you're having a number of philosophies, but I'm going to cover from each layer maximum 2 or 3, maximum 1 to 3. I'm going to cover it. This is for the sake of your own understanding. I hope after end of this particular class, you can explore further. Like positivism, what are the philosophy I'm looking at it? I need to look at it from 2 different elements. One is ontology, second one is epistemology. Now, somebody can tell me what is positivism. I'm sure you must have basic understanding of what is positivism. Already professor. Yeah, please.
So positivism, it is related to natural science, applying the methodologies of natural science. Here we use the empiricism and the scientific methods like collecting data and then verifying them and hypothesis making and etc. So it is generally considered as a part of natural science methodology.
Thank you, Nikita. So as for Nikita, what we understood that positivism generally we consider as a conceptual framework. Most of the pure sciences, natural sciences, they use positivism as a part of this framework, because we cannot talk about, as per positivist, reality is based on measurements, based on observation. What are the findings you're talking about it? Everything based on what you are conducting study, what you are measuring it. It may be experiment, it may be based on hypothetical testing it, based on empirical facts you are talking about it. Take for instance, like problem here is being just like a natural scientist, as a social scientist, we cannot conduct experiments in a controlled environment because there is a huge scope for you're not able to control certain experiments, you're not able to control certain topics. Take for instance, if I want to conduct study on adolescents who are drop out of the schools, and looking at the literature review shows that most of the dropout adolescents, those that drop out from the schools, they are mostly involved in criminal activities. Now this is a literature I gone through it. Okay. Now I want to conduct this particular study. If I want to conduct in a particular lab, okay, like take for instance, I'm collecting a group of people, I'm putting in the lab, adolescents, those are involved in criminal activities. I cannot observe their behavior because I'm influencing, because the moment the person knows that I'm observing them, they won't behave the manner they're supposed to believe it. But being a social scientist, by using systematic investigation of facts, by using systematic inquiry, being a social scientist, we can study human behavior in natural settings. I will give another example here. As you are research scholars, you must have started, some of you might have already started installing Mendeley. Mendeley is a software. Basically, you'll use it for referencing citation. Okay. Since you installed Mendeley, we found that in your system became slow, especially MS Word 2013. It is taking a lot of time to open it. Okay. Then you realize there is a problem because Mendeley interrupting the functionality of your MS Word. Then you started exploring whether this particular problem is everywhere is there. So you started exploring what is the solution for it. Means positivists believe that whatever the contribution they make it based on observations, based on measurements, based on hypothetical testing. We are already going through a lot of literature. We are going to test the theories. I hope, is it clear? Next one we have interpretism. I can say that even constructivism. It is based on the principles of constructionism, like a positivist. Social construct also depends on observation. They also try to gather information based on observation. However, social construction believe that the kind of knowledge they are contributing not based on experiment. It is based on how we are constructing knowledge. Take for instance, I'm collecting data from the person who is suffering with breast cancer. The way the person experiences completely differ from the person who belongs to the same kind of category. Because I don't know the kind of pattern, the kind of coping style is having it, the kind of social structure is having it, the kind of economic background is having it, the kind of social construction is having it. Here, people construct the meaning through their interactions with each other. Take for instance, a person who is suffering with breast cancer, the way she interacts with the society, the kind of social support she's having it. Take for instance, being a woman, she having breast cancer. Okay. Now, being a housewife, what kind of stigma she's having with her husband, while what kind of role she's playing when it comes to sexual intercourse, or being a mother, how she is able to interact with her child, being a neighbor, how she is ranked in the society. No, the kind of stigma, it plays an important role. When you interact with the person, to ask how you are coping with this particular breast cancer, I'm collecting data from 3 or 4 women. Okay, each person have their own understanding, their own experiences. So here there is no single reality. The kind of knowledge you are contributing it, each person having different set of understanding, and each person, their experience depends on how they are interacting with the people, how they are building that meanings, how they are creating the meanings. Okay, so that's why when you look at ontology, reality is objective, it is a singular, it is apart from the researcher. Whereas interpretivism, that is constructionist, reality is a subjective. There are multiple realities. You cannot say that this is what reality is existing in. According to me, this is what. According to you, that is what. Means we are the persons constructing the knowledge based on experiences, based on our interaction with our group. Now, coming to epistemology, what is the valid knowledge? Now, when I coming to positivism, researcher is independent from the being researched. Take for instance, you are collecting data from the dropout schools. Those are involved in criminal activities. I just visited various nearby prisons, and I collected the data about the number of adolescents involved in criminal activities. Okay. Now, I just imagine that I got around 1,000 people. Looking at my time and availability of resources, and after discussing with my supervisor, we decided that I'm going to collect data from around 250 respondents. Okay. Now, I'll be very careful while designing this particular tool, while designing research objectives, research questions. I'll take each and every measure to ensure that the quality of the tool is perfect. If it required, I'll also do a lot of pilot studies. Okay. And I'll ensure that it's scientifically valid, scientifically proved in terms of validity, reliability. I'll ensure that it is my research tool is up to the mark as per the expectations, as per the reliability and validity. Now, whoever is going to collect it, there won't be any kind of changes. Okay. Being a researcher, I have designed everything. I have pre-designed my tool. I have taken a lot of care while designing it. Being a faculty member, what I'll do is I won't be able to go to the field. So what I'll do is I'll ask my assistants, my research staff members to collect the data from that. Okay. Whether I'm going to data collection, whether my research staff is going to be there in data collection, answers will be the same. Observation will be the same because you're going to give respondents closed-ended questions. They're going to feel as it is what they felt it. What is there? Reality is all there. This is completely objectivity based. Whereas when it comes to second, that is constructivism, I'm the co-PI, I'm the PI, I'm the main researcher that appointed a recent UG student to collect the data on breast cancer. It plays an important role, the kind of data as a researcher, how I'm going to collect it, my staff, my assistant, how he's going to collect the data. Because the kind of probing I'm going to have it, the kind of interaction I'm going to with my respondent, it plays a lot of importance because I'm being at least I have around 8 years of experience. What are the limited knowledge I'm having it. That plays an important role while interacting with my respondents, while building rapport with my respondents. The kind of questions I have to ask. I won't ask like yes or no questions. I won't ask like closed-ended questions. Most of the questions depends on open-ended questions. My second question depends on the kind of answer my respondent is giving for the first question. There won't be any pre-designed tool, though I have specific list of questions that I am supposed to ask. But the entire research data collection process depends on how I'm interacting with, how I'm collecting data, how I'm probing my respondent. Okay. And another important factor here is while conducting qualitative research, my prior assumptions should not influence my data collection process. Okay, that's why in qualitative research there is a concept called bracketing. Whenever you go into the field, especially qualitative researchers, they won't do thorough research like qualitative researchers. Doesn't mean that you should not do a review of literature. You should have basic understanding of what is happening in this particular domain, how much knowledge is there. Because most of the qualitative researchers, they'll take in order to understand, in order to explore it, because there is a lot of gaps. There is no research done in this particular area. Maybe you couldn't find much research in this particular area. You want to explore it. Means you want to explore in this particular domain. Okay? So that's how we are going to build the theory. Most of the qualitative researchers, the main objective of research is to develop the theories. Whereas when it comes to quantitative researchers, that is positivist, they test the theory. They'll start their research with the testing the theories. They'll read thorough literature. They'll have thorough understanding of entire areas they are focusing on it. They'll try to test it, what is happening with this particular theory is right now. Okay. I'm not covering other philosophies like we have critical realism, we have postmodernism, we have pragmatism. Okay. Now let me give one more criticalism. According to criticalist social scientists, they believe that whatever the knowledge you are contributing it, It is not based on objectivity, or neither it is based on objectivity neither nor on subjectivity. I'm doing research, I want to bring some change. Most of the critical researchers, they will talk on inequality, rights of minorities, rights of persons with disability, different problems. They don't want to study like, okay, for the sake of I want to make contribution, not for the sake of getting the degrees. They want to bring some change. They want to study imbalances between different sections or different communities, not only to understand it, not only to contribute, but also to ensure that they want to bring change in the particular sections, the particular communities. So that is the best part of critical I can say that even action-oriented researchers, they'll carry this kind of research projects. Next one, I hope is it making sense? Whenever you're looking at philosophy, there are two elements you need to look at it. One is ontology, second one is epistemology. There are a number of schools of thought like positivism, interpretism, postmodern. Because I'm not covering postmodernism, post-structuralism, because this is not my area of subject. Okay, I have very limited knowledge in that area, but I can give you a brief idea of what is paradigm, what is philosophy is all about it. When it is come to quantitative, when it is come to qualitative. Okay. Now, next layer is research approach to theory development. I'm sure this particular Aditya, you have any question?
Yes, sir. Sir, with regard to critical research philosophical approach, what would be the epistemological component of it? We discussed the ontological component as to that they don't believe in subjectivity and objectivity, but they're more concerned with changes that they ought to make. What would be the epistemological aspect or component of it?
See, epistemological, critical, the main objective is to bring a solution to the problem, right? Mm-hmm. So they'll use both, they are more close to pragmatists. They'll use the both quantitative as well as qualitative researchers. They'll use both inductive as well as deductive approach as well.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Next, I'm moving towards the next one, that is the research approach. I'm sure this concept are very familiar. As a part of your UG course, I'm sure you must have done it. Basic understanding of what is inductive and what is deductive. I just brought two examples here. Before discussing these two examples, let me tell you what is inductive method. Or somebody can tell me what is inductive method? As you can see that particular chart, that particular illustration, it is easy for you to explain what is inductive method.
May I?
Yes, please.
Sir, I think inductive method is based on our observations and our literature. First, we observe and we make our own theories. We collect our data and we collect our related patterns, and then based on the patterns, we analyze them. And after analyzing the data and verifying them, then finally we construct a theory. But on the other hand, like it is just opposite of deductive method. What we do in deductive is we start from a hypothesis and we reach to a theory. But on the other hand, in inductive, we start from the data, observations and patterns, and then finally we make a theory.
Thank you. See, as colleague said, most of the inductive, that is qualitative researchers, they'll have preliminary understanding of what research they are doing on it. And as I mentioned earlier, the qualitative researchers mostly look at the areas which is not explored further, which is not explored much. So for them, numbers doesn't matter. They're not looking at one or two variables. They are looking at patterns. They are looking at, it is a research context oriented. If you are taking, take for instance, menstruation, as you can see the research study here, I just brought one research study. It was conducted in 2011. This particular study trying to understand how boys and young women learn about menstruation. In Indian context, still we won't discuss at our own families what is menstruation. Take for instance, we hang our own sisters, our own wives, our own cousins, cousin siblings, our own mothers. Okay, it is a monthly they face with a problem, 3 to 5 days, whatever problems. Most of our school curriculum they won't discuss about it because menstruation is still considered as a stigma. The person who is getting menstruation first cycle, She's having a lot of issues. She don't know. She may not have a lot of understanding about what is this, what to do, what are the products they have to use it. Okay. She won't be able to discuss openly with her family members, except mother. She can't discuss with anyone. Maybe grandfather, grandmother. Okay. And when it comes to practice, most of the family they won't allow them to enter into an inside family because there is pollution. It is considered as pollution. Our practice is completely different. Okay. They won't allow her to touch our own kitchens, our own rooms, our own items. Now, here scholars came, they try to understand how boys and young girls learn, how boys and young men learn about menstruation. The study, what they did, is something new for the people. They didn't find much research on this. They want to understand how people are learning about menstruation. So they collected data from 23 young men, especially adolescents. They collected data from the people. They started asking, what do you mean by menstruation? What do you mean by it? When you come across this particular topic, what about your family? Whether your family discuss about what is menstruation, or whether your sister discussed about it, or whether your sister felt anytime uncomfortable while during this particular period of time, whether the sister is there in dropout because of this particular situation. There are a number of questions. People started, researchers collected data from this particular 23 young men. Okay. Now, what they did, out of this particular 23 narratives, okay, there is a lot of rich description, a lot of data from they developed the theory. They developed theory about how boys and young men learn, understand about menstruations. This theory concludes that sisters plays an important role in boys understanding about menstruations. I didn't discuss with my sister. I don't know about me out of this particular our own colleagues. Have any of your sisters discussed with you? No, because still we are considering it as a stigma. We won't discuss about it. But research found that there are few chances sisters plays an important role when it comes to understanding about what is menstruation. After reaching adolescent stage, in case we are forming a romantic relationship, maybe after getting married, you will develop more understanding about mature attitudes about what is menstruation. Till reaching adolescent stage, you won't be able to understand what kind of discomfort your sister is facing, what kind of problems our own siblings are facing about. So this is something new. So he collected data from the field, he observed it, he found, okay, these are some of the patterns from where they are getting it. They came up with developing the theory. So these are some of the interesting research topics I can discuss here. Second one, as you can see here, deductive. Somebody can tell me what is deductive approach? I think already Nikita covered it. It's something like opposite to inductive. Means in inductive, you are looking at the data and you are looking at the patterns and you are developing the theory. Whereas in deductive, you are reading thorough, you are having thorough understanding of what is literature is available, what are the theories are available. Okay, you are trying to test the particular theories. You are trying to conduct some variables. Is there any cause and effect relationship? Is there any association between two different variables like difference between income and expenditure, demand and supply, lack of job opportunities and crime rates? Okay. Similarly, number of judges and the number of cases and pending cases. So there are a number of ways you can able to conduct your quantitative research. I brought one more case study for your reference. Mike and Catherine, they conducted a study on classroom environments on first grades mental health. Now, every academic year, whenever it comes to UG or PG, or maybe depends on the course, you'll find that if you go to South India, especially Andhra Pradesh, maybe not only Andhra Pradesh, many of the states, South India, +1 and +2 is considered very competitive. There's a lot of pressure on the children. I'm sure you must have read a lot of suicide rates among the children +1, +2, just because they are not able to they're not able to reach the expectations of the fathers, expectations of the mothers, not because they are not happy with their marks, not because they are not happy with teachers. They are not able to reach the expectations of the fathers. There's a lot of pressure on them. Okay. Now, similarly, this particular study talks about classroom environments on first grades mental health. Now, when you talk about classroom environment, being a social scientist, we have a lot of theories like system approach. system approach, which talks about what are the basic support services we are providing to schools, colleges, what are the basic facilities are available. Okay. Now, how this particular facilities plays an important role when it comes to students' educational, emotional, behavioral problems. Okay. So this is one example I can give you here. I just want to summarize here. Inductive approach starts with observation, then move from particular experiences to more general set propositions. Means you are going from particular to general. That is inductive, based on observations. Whereas deductive, you study from huge sample, you will conduct some experiments, you will test the theories, whatever phenomena you are studying it, from general to particular. Is it clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please let me know if I can one or two examples out of it. This is a simple way I can able to summarize here. Start with the theory, confirm a hypothesis. I just want to tell you that what are the pictures I brought it is not my own creativity. Credit goes to various scholars. I just brought it from Google so that I can able to make you to pay some attention to these particular images. Okay. Second, we have covered two layers. One is philosophical understanding. Second one, approach to theory development. Next one, you have methodological choice. Now here comes what kind of method you are going to choose. Whether you are going to choose quantitative methods, whether you are going to choose qualitative methods, whether you are going to choose mixing method. Now in this particular layer, as you can see here, mono method, quantitative. Whether it is mono method means single method which you are going to, whether it is either quantitative or qualitative. Multi method, where you are going to use both combination. Within the quantitative, you can use two different quantitative methods like survey, like observation checklist. Similarly, multiple methods, mixing methods, you are going to have both quantitative as well as qualitative. I'll brought some examples here. Before discussing the example, I just want from you what is meant by quantitative research, what is meant by qualitative, what is mixing method. Let me take from our own colleagues. Please, what is quantitative method?
Sir, if I may.
Yeah, please. Yes, Isha.
Quantitative methods where we are concerned with numbers, and say for example, if I have to find that how many state commissions for police department has been established in different states. So I would go to the states and would collect the data that if that state has established one or not. And qualitative is about describing what analyzing of what the data we have got. And that's again interpretive methods where we are interpreting what data we have collected, analyzing it. If I'm.
Thank you, Isha. Thank you. Next, anyone would like to add further?
In quantitative, basically the data collected is measurable.
Yeah, Shantanu, yes, please.
Yes, in quantitative, the data which is being collected is measurable and can be compared easily through various mathematical methods as well as statistical methods. Whereas in qualitative, it is more of analysis of words and the feelings and the sentences or the passages or the interview method, etc., etc.
Thank you, Shantanu. Yes. Next.
Sir, may I use example for that?
Yeah, please.
So for example, financial inclusion. So like for the financial inclusion, government has opened 15 crore accounts. So it is the quantitative aspect. But if we have to find the quality behind it, are all these accounts are functional? Are these being used by the targeted people? So here comes the use of qualitative research.
Nikita, second one I agree with you. First one also I agree, but you said that you're just talking about particular figure, what our government is giving it, right?
Okay.
Let me give an example. If anybody would like to add further, I'll like to give a couple of examples for each methodology.
Sir, may I?
Yeah, please.
Sir, I think so. I'll take an example which Isha Saxena took. So if you want to go effectiveness of Indian police system. So either when I go to each of the states, see the number of police stations available and number of cases and the crime rate, or else when same data from National Crime Record Bureau, that would fall in the quantitative aspect. Whereas when I just go through all the research which have been already been written or already data which has been written and certain conclusions have been derived, if I go those things and then I come to a certain conclusion, I think so able to reach to a qualitative analysis. And in first case where I either use the quantitative data already present or it may fall within the aspect that my determination is, I have gone through the primary or secondary quantitative data and I've to certain conclusions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ketan.
May I add something, sir?
Yeah, please.
It's for me, quantitative data is that when I am providing evidence in form of numbers to my questions which I am asking in my research, I am relying on the quantitative part of quantitative technique or quantitative research method. If I am using a mixed method and if I am relying not on data, not on say numbers, but on my observation, my experiences or other people's experiences, that is my qualitative part of the research.
Thank you, Anandi. I just want... yeah, please.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
yeah.
I actually have a question based on this picture.
Okay.
So this picture tells us that quantitative method, the third person, he is saying that quantitative methods are best, and under the methods he has included deductive logic. But in the qualitative, inductive logic has been included. So, but can't deductive fall under qualitative as well? Can't we go from general to particular in qualitative methods as well? Is it watertight compartment?
Can you repeat second statement?
Are qualitative methods, are deductive logic, are they always included under quantitative methods, and inductive always included under qualitative methods? Is it a watertight compartment, or deductive can fall under qualitative as well? Because I feel we can go from general to particular in qualitative as well. So why is it has been bifurcated like this?
Asmita. Yeah. I think I'll get back to your question. Immediately I'll answer that.
Yeah,
so far, we have got responses like what our colleagues added, that quantitative means basically you're talking about numbers, right? Means you are trying to measure certain variables. You're looking at association, maybe you're looking at correlations, regression, whatever it is, okay? Trying to look at number of variables, trying to measure it. And you are expressing in terms of number. And secondly, sample. If you're collecting quantitative data, your sample is going to be a huge sample. At least I can expect minimum to minimum 100, 50 to 100 I can expect it. And it is going to be a probability sampling method we are going to use on it. And now coming to Asmita's question, she's talking about generalizations. One of the major limitations of qualitative research is we cannot generalize our findings. Though the approach is we are going from particular to journal. This is one of the major limitations of qualitative research. Qualitative research is inductive approach, that is sure, because you are observing from the data, you are taking the patterns and you are going to develop the theories. Okay. Whereas the kind of generalization, the kind of validity, this kind of validity and reliability what we are having in quantitative data that cannot be applied to qualitative research. Qualitative research mainly meant for understanding the experiences, contributing from the perspective of the respondent point of view. It doesn't matter even with single case study, like by using narrative analysis, I can come up with, I can take example of how, take for instance, women. My own colleagues, being women, how she's handling household work, household tasks. Being a mother, how she's handling 2 years old baby, 3 years old baby, what kind of take care she's taking, how she's nurturing the baby, how she's taking care of other family members. I'm also working, she's also working, but the kind of responsibilities I'm having at my home, maybe because I'm not, I don't want to say that I'm doing everything at home, I'm cooperating with my wife, but just look at general. Being a woman, She is successful at office. She is in leadership position, despite managing so many multiple roles. So I want to create some persona, some kind of profile after 10 years period of time, after 15 years, to motivate others, to influence others. Like take for instance, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I want to conduct research on him. Only single person. I'll talk to him what are the different incidents happened in his cricket career. What happened before that? How he came to this particular field. Case is single one. Because here, I'm not here to generalize my findings. I'm not going to generalize Dhoni. He is a good batsman. He is a good decision making. He is having a lot of mental balance. I cannot generalize each and every. I cannot say that each and every person has same kind of mental balance, right? It's all about completely subjective. So, Asmita, your question is: qualitative research is always inductive, quantitative research is always deductive. But thanks to our pragmatist scholars, because single method, they felt that it's not able to justice. What are the problem, research problem? I'm choosing it. I'm not able to justify my research purpose. I'm not able to bring solution to my research problem. So I want to use both the methods, both quantitative as well as qualitative researches. So that's how pragmatist scholars came up with this objective logic. It is a combination of both inductive as well as deductive. Is there anyone who would like to add it in case you felt that?
Actually, sir, so we cannot formulate theories on the basis of quantitative data.
Can you tell? You cannot.
So can we formulate theories on the basis of quantitative data?
As per my knowledge, whatever I understood, quantitative research is meant for just testing the theories, whereas qualitative research is meant for building the theories. That is confirmed. That is as per my knowledge. This is what I understood. And this is I'm going to send you one interesting link, research article on testing and generating hypothesis. Because most of the time, what happens is whenever you're going to attend any interview, people will ask questions. What is your hypothesis? After telling my research topic, they'll ask what is your hypothesis. I think whether these people are having basic understanding of research methodology or not, because research hypothesis is not compulsory for every research. They'll ask, without hypothesis, how you are doing research, how you have done research, how you have completed your PhD. No. Research depends on your purpose of your research, tells you whether you are going to have research questions or research hypothesis. Of course, research objectives will be there, irrespective of whether you're doing quantitative or qualitative. But if you're doing qualitative research, research hypothesis is not mandatory. Okay? Because only for quantitative researchers, they'll use hypothesis. Again, this is not mandatory because if somebody is going to conduct experiment, definitely they need to have hypothesis. But if you're going to do descriptive research, no, I don't think there is that much weightage for you to include compulsory to include hypothesis as a part of your research work. Okay.
So actually, if some examples are coming in my mind, wherein if we rely on quantitative data, I think we can still formulate theories. For example, if we analyze the frequency of occurrence of one particular phenomena, and
yeah, please go ahead.
And on the basis of occurrence of that particular phenomena, if we want to derive a theory that, for example, if we take the age when a working mother bears child, if we conduct a survey, if we collect data that there is a certain age group when most of the females prefer to bear child because they are working. So can't you formulate a theory on the basis of that okay, this is the general preference of the working women in this particular area or something like that? Can quantitative data, can they never formulate any theories? Isn't it possible?
Can you tell me once again the title that you mentioned, working women?
For example, it's just an example. If you want to
conduct a survey. Yeah.
So if we want to know what is, there is a difference between working women and non-working women. So if we want to know what is the general age group when the working women prefer to bear a child, considering.
Asmita, there are two things. You are comparing two different groups, and you also hang subgroups, right? Mm-hmm. One is working women, second one is non-working women. That's one. Mm-hmm. Second, you also hang subgroups like age. You must be looking at different, which I'm going to discuss, like cross-sectoral research design, cross-sectoral, cross-sectional, no, sorry, I use cross-sector, cross-sectional research design. In that particular research design, you are going to compare different set of group of people. You're trying to understand. See, now you're trying to look at it, what plays an important role. Being a working woman.
So actually, that is not my focus. My focus is only on the work. For example, this is just an example. If I want to conduct a research that what is the general age group when working women prefer to bear child. So I conduct a survey in a city or two cities, and then I come to a conclusion that okay, 45 is the.
What kind of data you have collected?
It's quantitative. It's purely quantitative. I ask women. It's questionnaire.
So see here. You are going to conduct quantitative study, and you are going to refer existing literature review, at least a couple of theories, right? And now you are going to come up with your own hypothesis, right? At least you are going to have hypothesis. Now at the end of your research, either you are going to confirm your research hypothesis, or you are going to reject your hypothesis, like disprove or disprove it. Means in your conclusion chapter, you are going to specifically mention what you mentioned in your research methodology, like when you before beginning your research research fieldwork. This was the hypothesis was there in your mind, and actual reality is existing in this manner. So you are going to confirm either accepting or rejecting. You are going to write it there. Means accepting means you are accepting the particular theory. What are the hypotheses you have developed it? So this is what I can tell you. Okay. And in case if anything is there, I'll also explore further. I'll get back to you. If I think I'm wrong it, but as far as my knowledge is concerned,
they cannot be intermixed.
This is what. If somebody would like to add, somebody would like to yeah, please.
Am I audible?
What is good name? Your good name, please?
Aditya.
Yeah, please, Aditya.
Sir, I think what Asmita is trying to locate is like whether quantitative methodology alone in isolation can be enough to build up a theory. Wherein I think some of the examples that she cited, I think Asmita, un sare examples may all those examples will have the intersection with some of the qualitative variables. So in that case, I strictly going by the diagram that is presented in front of us. I think what the quantitative methodological approach is directly looking at all the quantitative variables. It's not, it's just saying that quantitative methodological approach is more deductive. As soon as you start inferring inductive methodology from some deduction, it is going to jump on to the qualitative design. So it becomes mixed method. That's what I think.
Yeah, that is actually my concern.
See, if you're going to use mixed methods, there is nothing like there is what is theory building and all. Okay. It's up to
post-structuralist argument that
see, if you're specifically like I'm doing quantitative, okay, whether I can build a theory. If you're going at single method, there's a problem here for your question. But if you're going to use pragmatic approach like critical like mixed method, then there is scope for both ways. But again, if you're going to use pragmatic like mixed methods, the kind of methodology you're going to take, for instance, when I talk about qualitative, like ethnography, grounded theory, Hang phenomenology, there are a number of theories where there is huge scope for you to come up with a lot of descriptions. You're going to have a lot of patterns which are required for developing a theory. Okay, if you're using single theory, then qualitative is the best for developing the theory, especially grounded theory. Then if you talk about quantitative, it is testing the theory. Thank you, Aditya, and I hope is it clear?
It's somewhat clear now.
Good.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Aditya, and thank you, sir.
Thank you. Next slide. Yeah, I just brought I just brought a couple of examples for quantitative study. Take for instance, we all know Panchayat Raj institutions and the 73rd Amendment Act. Okay, women are eligible for taking part in Panchayat Raj institutions local level. Okay, I want to conduct a study on women empowerment, a critical assessment of reservation for women in Panchayat Raj institutions at Gram Panchayat level, North Gujarat, maybe whatever the region from wherever you are coming in. Now, by using quantitative research methods to examine what extent the socio-economic, I cannot simply ask how you are taking decision, why you are not able to take decision making, who are playing major role, though you are considered you are elected for the particular position. your husband might be playing, your brothers might be playing major role. But I want to understand why they are not able to take decision making. Before talking about decision making, I need to understand what is their social profile, what is the education profile. This is the first time she elected as a representative. How many times she has elected, and what is her family generation to generation? Are there any members? So I want to understand basic profile of the women. But most of the time, what happens is people start writing objective like to understand women empowerment as a part of their dissertation, their thesis. Without understanding what is women empowerment, you cannot talk about the research problem. You cannot talk about research objectives. Please ensure that in your research objectives, the kind of terminologies you are going to use it. You cannot say that to understand what is it? What is Gram Panchayat in Indian context or Sambhita Amendment Act? No, research is all about the kind of contribution you're going to make out of your research, out of your fieldwork, what are the contribution you're going to make it out. Conceptual building, everything you're going to complete before you are starting your fieldwork. So what are the conceptual understanding you're going to write as a part of your research objectives? They cannot be considered as research objectives because research objectives meant for what you're going to contribute, what you're going to study. Okay, so just about this is one quantitative example. Second, I already covered this particular part. Psychosocial experience of survivors with breast cancer. Please go through this particular objectives to explore the psychosocial experience of survivors during the journey, to understand the influence of gastronomy on sexuality and sexual functioning of survivors. Okay, to explore the influence of individual. Here, quantitative, as our colleague said, that it completely depends on numbers, statistics, whereas qualitative, even qualitative depends on words, rich descriptions. Even you can images can tell a lot of stories about it. Videos, observation can tell a lot of story about the observation what you're doing it. Okay. I'm just moving to next. I hope is it clear so far. It's very simple, very basic understanding of what is qualitative, what is quantitative, and mixed methods. Next one we hang it research strategies. We hang a lot of research strategies here. If you are using quantitative, basically you're going to have descriptive research design, experimental research design, or you're going to have explanatory research designs. If you're going to use qualitative, you hang ethnography, narratives, phenomenology, grounded theory, case study. I will take one example from here, ethnography. Here I mentioned one research articles for your reference. This is a study. It was published in the year 2000, very recent one. Trafficking in bodily perfection, examining the late modern steroid marketplace. As we all know that illegal steroid and human growth hormones. Most of the athletes they are using these days, and there's a lot of cases are going on, and there is also a lot of pressure from the government and from various sports agencies to come up better law enforcement. How we can control this kind of issues. Okay. Now, the scholar came up with this particular research study. You want to understand how people, athletes, how they are using it, from where they are getting it. Okay. Now he used ethnographic method. As you all know that ethnographic method is basically to understand the culture of different communities, different it may be tribal, it may be students. Basically trying to immerse yourself in the field by using either participant observation, various methods you're going to use it, and you're going to collect the data, being a part of your own research. So here this research scholar, he collected data from the various athletes. Sorry, I'm not able to pronounce athletes. He collected data by spending around almost 2 years he was in the field. Almost 2 years he was in the field, and he was able to interact with various people. And best part of ethnography research is that you need to follow research ethics. Means you should inform your research members from, like, especially key informants from whom you are collecting data, who you are, why you are conducting the research, what is the purpose of this research, what you are going to do with this particular research, what you are going to add, how you are going to make a report, are you going to give this particular report findings to them or not? Okay. So there are a number of ways What I want to say that the person spent around 15 to 20 months in the field to understand actually how illegal practices are happening with the sportsman. Okay, so what he did, he started visiting various gyms, various bodybuilding institutions. He started interacting with people, saying that I want to improve myself, I want to do this, I want to do that. Where is the best way? How to improve my hormones? What is the food I have to take? What are the best medicines to handle it? So in this case, ethnography is the best way to understand how these particular illegal practices are happening. I hope, is it clear? Second thing, I also wanted to that he didn't stop with ethnography research. He also used content analysis. Like he got data from around 186 websites. He started exploring it, how these particular websites are functioning, what kind of drugs they are giving it, what kind of quality they are maintaining it, how many customers they are having it. It depends on site to site, okay? What they are prescribing about these particular drugs, these particular prescriptions, and what is the price mechanism they're charging it, okay? What about customers' feedback about these particular drugs? If you feel that whenever you're doing mixed method research, if you feel that your particular method that you are doing it is not giving proper information to you, or you're not able to add more knowledge, you can use either quantitative or qualitative as a part of your research. If you're using qualitative, you can use combination of quantitative as well. There are 6 to 8 types of mixing methods around it, like sequential exploratory research design, sequential explanatory research design, concurrent exploratory research design, concurrent explanatory research design. Means either you can use different methods like interview and observation, like otherwise second way like quantitative, qualitative. Otherwise, there are a number of ways you can able to do mixing methods. We are going to have one complete session on how to carry your mixing method research. We are going to have it. Your sample size, just based on basic understanding of various research articles we have mentioned here. I'm not going to cover rest of the methods. I already covered ethnography. Again, experiment will hang a lot of designs, pre-test, post-test, post-factor test, true experimental design, quasi experimental designs. So it all depends on the kind of what is your purpose of your research. Whether you want to simply describe the phenomena or the particular event that is happening. Like take for instance, I can take Supreme Court cases, Supreme Court High Court cases from last 15 years onwards. I can see the trends for every 5 years once. How many cases are increasing? How many cases are decreasing? Okay. I'm simply going to describe what is numbers. Okay. Otherwise, I can take association between different variables. So, if you are going to use this kind of methods, you are going to have different kind of tools like questionnaire, schedule, observation, text. This is another simplified version of selecting your research tools. Like if you are using quantitative, you are having 2 types: experimental, non-experimental. If you are using qualitative, that is interactive, non-interactive. If you are going to have mixing methods, it is going to be like descriptive. Basically, I am trying to give the overview of all the terminologies that is supposed to be included as a part of research methodology. I won't be able to justify entire research methodology, that is research on a layer, but I'm just trying to making an attempt to introduce all the concepts that we are going to cover as a part of research methodology. There is one more layer that is hang time origin. As I mentioned earlier, we hang a cross-sectional, cross-sectional and longitudinal research design. If you are collecting data from a single group, and in different time spans, take for instance walking patterns and cholesterol level. I want to look at it. The people, those are not having walking habits and their cholesterol level. I want to look at it. Okay. Now, if you look at cross-sectional point of view, I'm going to select the group of people, adolescents, middle-aged group, and elderly people. I'm going to look at it non-walkers, they don't have walking habits, but I want to look at cholesterol level. Is there any association between these two terminologies, these two variables? Whereas when it comes to longitudinal, I'm going to collect the data from same group of people but different time spans. Like I collected data in the year 2005, and again I'm going to collect data in the 2006, otherwise 2010, next one 2015. Means I'm going to look at it, what is happening with this particular group of people, or what are the changes are taking place in this group. The limitation of cross-sectional research design is I won't be able to tell you cause and effect, because on the spot, in this particular moment, in this particular period of time, I'm collecting data about walking habits and its cholesterol level among different groups. I won't be able to tell you what is happening. But depends on research purpose. Take for instance, demonetization and its impact on livelihood opportunities, lifestyle of different people. Like I'm taking street vendors, I'm taking private sector people, those are doing small, pretty businesses, and the public sector people, those are well settled, government employees. Okay, I'm looking at what they're thinking about demonetization. Demonetization means what for them? Okay, what are the changes that are taking place in this particular period of time for them? I'm selecting different group of people. Is it clear? Time horizon? Cross-sectional?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Still behind 25 minutes. Now, this is the time for you. I just brought 3 examples. It includes all the layers. Research objectives, I mentioned it. I given the title of the research, and I given the brief understanding of what is research objective. Now, I want from each one of you, at least I'm going to ask randomly. This is a classroom exercise. I want answers from each one of you. Okay, I'm just giving, I think 5 minutes is good enough, 5 to 10 minutes. 4:17, I'm going to ask the questions. 4:15, I think 4:15 is good enough. Okay, 4:15. Please think about it. I hope you can able to read. Font is readable. Can you able to read the font?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we're having 3 examples. You can choose any example and prepare answers for the particular questions, like what kind of research paradigm you can use it, what kind of research approach you can use it, what kind of methodological choice you can opt for it, what are the research strategies you can opt for it, what kind of data collection techniques you are going to use. Basically, what you're going to do is, in general, people start with the data collection methods. They'll tell that I'm using survey method, I'm using interview method. But there are 5 layers before that. And I want you to have basic understanding of all the layers. So 4:15, I'm going to start asking the questions. Please have a look at the examples and try to understand so far what we have covered here.
Sir, I need a clarity on paradigm shift.
Paradigm?
Research paradigm, I mean.
Research paradigm. Yes, please.
It's not clear to me. So can you explain it in?
Means research paradigm. See, paradigm is all about the assumptions.
Yes,
the assumptions, the beliefs about the reality that you have it. How you are looking at the society. How you are looking at the reality. Okay. Paradigm guides you how to look at it, how to study it, how to collect the data, how to interpret the data.
Okay, so maybe close to hypothesis, which we generally use?
No, Nadeem, no. See, this is an outer layer. Take for instance, paradigm, when I mentioned about positivist, imagine that I'm having positive perspective. I'm looking at it from the point of detective perspective, okay? I'll give an example. I'll take one of the case study from here. I'm taking the second example, a comparative legal study into legal education and graduate employability skills in law students through pro bono law clinics. As you're all belongs to law, you all know that we're having so many law schools right now, other than traditional law schools. And there are so many institutions are coming with, private law schools are coming up. You can see mushroom of institutions are coming up, okay? But on the other hand, you have government institutions which are existing as it is. And there is a lot of pressure among the law graduates with regard to employability skills. I hope you easily can compare the kind of law schools, the kind of law schools they're having it, the kind of curriculum they're having it, the kind of exposures they're having it, the kind of centers they are running it, how students are involved with various training programs. You can compare, you can take a couple of institutions like private institutions, government schools, law schools. So what kind of exposure they are getting it, how this has impact on their educational employment opportunities. So I just want to conduct quantitative research. I want to take these two variables, type of the institution and their employability skills, how far they're trained to get employment opportunities once they complete their graduation. Okay. So this is my objective here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, as I mentioned, I'm going to select 2 or 3 different type of institutions, and I'll collect data from each around 50 institutions, and I collect data from around 500 sample. Because I'm trying to measure, I'm trying to examine, is there any relationship between type of the institution and the kind of exposure they are getting it. I want to quantify the findings here. I'm looking at it from the deductive point of view. Naveen, am I making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It is better, as in it is clear than it brings a clarity on. Yes.
Okay.
I'll just look at the example and then maybe.
Yeah, please.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. So we have 3 more minutes.
I had a question. If I may.
Yeah, a little bit loud. Yeah, your good name, please.
Sir,
Yeah.
my name is
Yes,
Vidya.
yes.
Sir, I had a question. Sir, you had mentioned how in qualitative research, generally the researcher comes with an open mind and interacts and analyzes. But in qualitative method, do you feel that it can be based on a hypothesis as well?
Vidya, that's what I mentioned. In qualitative, you only have hypothesis as such.
Okay. Thank you.
So I have a question.
Yes, Isha.
Sir, I was asking that critical analysis of a legislation and then drawing the conclusions and forming a hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
Is it, because that's again, it will be a qualitative research wherein we are analyzing the legislation itself and bringing out the conclusions and making a hypothesis on that.
So you're telling that you are going to analyze the cases. Based on that, you are going to come up with a hypothesis.
Legislation, a law, for example. So say if I'm examining, if I have a purpose for saying that whether police officers, they have a specific duties in legislation, and I find that there is no specific chapter. I'm quickly analyzing CRPC and other relevant legislations, and thereafter saying something, or I'm saying that a lot of limitations are imposed on a certain group with that particular legislation. So I'm critically analyzing a particular law. So what method would that fall in?
See, I think in legal research, I used to have terms like doctrinal research, non-doctrinal research.
Right.
Doctrinal, non-doctrinal, as far as I understand, it comes under doctrinal research and non-doctrinal research. No, I'm just asking, please.
It's firstly doctrinal because we are having a. So in fact, the law is forming a part of a primary source. It is a literature, part of a literature for me, because I'm reading a legislation and I'm finding gaps from that particular legislation.
But are you going to conduct empirical research, anything as such?
Yes, after that.
After
yes.
that,
so based on that, after that, I'm going to conduct an empirical research.
By looking at the legislations, you are coming with some hypothesis, right?
Yes, and then testing.
Obviously, you're going to test it. So it can be either descriptive or experimental. Depends on the variables, the kind of objectives you are going to have it. It will come under quantitative. And you're having designs like descriptive research design or experimental research design. Again, that's what I mentioned as per your context. Yeah.
Okay. To be empirical. So after hypothesizing, if I'm conducting an empirical research.
Yes, then completely it's empirical research. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I hope if you don't have any questions, I would like to take a couple of our colleagues. Is there anyone who can literally come forward? Yeah, please.
Sir, in the example 1, where it talks about the presence of violence, which is being faced by the black girls in this particular school. So I think one should go for the qualitative research. I mean, in-depth interviews should be conducted at the school level.
Okay.
And based on this, like mostly what happens is that the girls at this age in the school, they are mostly not comfortable in sharing their details and their experiences. So this can be a type of unstructured questionnaire.
Okay.
That can be formulated for these particular girls.
You are correct. Yeah. But to more than that, I'm also mentioned that I'm looking at experiences of the people. When I talk about experiences, shall we measure the experiences? Is it possible to quantify the experiences, feelings? Okay, Nikita, just please continue other parameters as well, other layers as well. You have covered so far research approach. I think methodological choice you have covered it, that is qualitative research. What about research paradigm?
Sir, research, sir, actually, I am not in the sync with the parameters you have written there. So in research strategy, I can speak about. So
yeah, please.
For the research strategies, we need to formulate either internet-based surveys or questionnaires, or some sort of school club questionnaires. So we will divide our data collection into parts, and we can involve their parents or their teachers also in this structure. So that would help us strategize our data collection as well as accounting their experiences. And so this is part of the data collection and the strategies. And so this research paradigm, I'm not sure of it.
Okay. So do you have methodological choice? What is methodological choice?
So this would be a mix of qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative because the girl would not be able to express herself, as she can express her views based on her body language or the way she communicates. So for that purpose, we need to have a qualitative research. And
imagine that, Nikita, just imagine that you're doing qualitative research. What is going to be a research paradigm for it?
So research paradigm, I'm not sure of it, and actually I have some doubts, so I don't want to speak about it. That can actually that can be incorrect, so I'm not sure of it. But I'm sure of it for the methodology and the data collection part here.
Okay. Okay, next.
I have something to add to Nikita.
Yes.
So research paradigm, I think research paradigm, first example only.
Okay.
Research paradigm is a mixed paradigm according to me, mix of both qualitative and quantitative. Because firstly, quantitative...
That is pragmatistic approach.
Yeah, the middleman.
Yeah.
It would be mixed. Should I explain why or continue to the other points?
Briefly can explain so that...
Okay. I am saying it's mixed because firstly, we will have to quantify the black and non-black girls of color. First, we need to quantify, and then we need to qualitatively analyze what has been their experience, what has been this intersection of violence along with the school discipline. Hence, I say it's a mix. It's a mix of both qualitative and quantitative. Next, yeah.
See, when it comes to looking at research objective, if you look at the research title, there's a scope for you whether you want to go ahead with either quantitative, qualitative, or mixing methods. Okay. but the kind of objectives I have given here, the kind of research objectives I have given here, it mainly talks about from the perspective of constructivism, like narrativist point of view, completely interpretism point of view, means qualitative research perspective point of view.
Not much quantitative.
Not from quantitative. If you look at the terminology that I used, it like experience of blacks and non-blacks, girls of color who have displayed records to explore their experiences. But if
I thought that at first level we need.
Imagine that I'm not giving research objective here. I just left it even that choice to you as well. Any research topic that I give an example here, it's up to you how you're understanding, how you're looking at it. You can come either as an objective point of view or subjectivity point of view or positivist, anti-positivist. There are a number of ways how you look at it. Why I'm asking about.
Actually, it also says that who have disciplined records. So that's why I thought that there is some element of quantitative also.
Yes, now right now you are here. Like, as I mentioned, disciplined records. Now while I'm collecting the sample, I'm not going to collect all the respondents, all the blacks and all the black girls, non-black girls. Okay, I'm going to collect the data from there is my criteria is there. I have exclusion inclusion criteria. I look at it. Okay, she's a black, she's a non-black, and within the black we hang disciplined records. Okay, how many records she's hanging? If there is small discipline act, I don't want to select her. I want to look at nature of this particular discipline records we hang. How many times she has pointed out her behavior is not good. She hang number of records she hang it. So because what happens is you're trying to understand their experiences. They must have undergone particular experience. If you want to get more clarity, more rich description, they should have experienced that particular phenomena, that particular incident. It may be crisis, it may be event, whatever it is. If they're not able to experience the particular event, if it is one or two incidents, small incidents, there's no point of collecting data from them. I won't get much data, much understanding from this particular group of the respondents. So while selecting the sample itself, I use purposive sampling. I have a lot of clarity why I'm choosing this particular respondent, on what basis I'm excluding them, on what basis I'm including them. Okay. So as a part of qualitative research, number doesn't matter. You're not trying to measure, you're not trying to look at different association variations. You're trying to understand the experiences that matter, that's all. Okay. Now just look at it a similar way. Second example, examines the impact of employment issues faced in different jurisdictions and how law students can prepare. Means I'm trying to examine the impact of employment issues. I'm taking a couple of variables, right? I'm trying to understand, examine that. Whereas
qualitative.
It is quantitative. Second one is quantitative.
This is quantitative.
Yes, this is quantitative.
This is the comparative studies. I think this should be, we are comparing.
Again, see, if I'm not giving example for objective, I can do it qualitative as well. Take for instance, I'll collect data from 100 institutions, 2 different type of institutions. I'll also include qualitative aspect. Take for instance, those who got best placements. I'll ask them what kind of, I want to add more qualitative, I want to add more knowledge in this area. Okay, you're coming from good institution, you have a lot of exposure. Tell me what kind of exposure you hang it, how it influenced you, what made you to get this particular jobs. I can also use combination of both quantitative and qualitative. If you're looking at my research objectives, I'm talking about it is going to be quantitative. If you're looking only at title, you have scope. You have scope for you to do that.
So if you're talking about the issues faced by them, wouldn't that include their experiences? And wouldn't we require to interview them? And wouldn't this be?
As a researcher, it's up to you. What is the limitation? This is my objective. See, research is a ocean. Why we are keeping research questions, research objectives? Because whoever is going to ask question, look, this is my objective. This is beyond. This is my limit. Look, these are my variables. Okay. Research objectives, research hypotheses, research questions help you to guide your research and helps you to defend your research. Nobody can justify better than you. As a researcher, you are the person who can tell. Even your supervisor cannot tell anything. If you have this particular understanding of what are your objectives. Take for instance, if you are sitting in Viva, people for name's sake, they'll ask why you didn't do that, why you included this. You can tell this is what my scope of study is all about. That's why you hang clear, precise objectives. Okay.
I saw this objective and it was talking about examine the impact of employment issues.
Okay.
So it will differ from person to person because it's talking about their experience, the issues that they're facing. So hence I thought this is more of a qualitative data as compared to quantitative because
Okay.
Sir, also one more.
Just one point
Sir,
I want to add. One thing I want to add one point.
yeah.
I agree with you that what you are suggesting. The way how I'm looking at it, I'm taking two different type of institutions. I'm trying to look at it, number of activities they're conducting it, how they are involved in different extracurricular activities, certificate courses, what kind of internships they hang, what kind of placement sales they hang it, okay, number of alumni relations they are able to maintain it, okay. I'm looking at different institutions' point of view. What are the parameters plays important role? This is what I'm looking at it. As a researcher, that's what you're looking from your perspective now.
Okay, so it's a subjective answer.
It's completely subjective answer. Yes, Isha, please. Isha?
So you answered part of it. Yeah. I was saying that there is so employment issues may also include difference in the curriculum and difference in the kinds of activities and opportunities that an institution gives.
Yes, as Isha rightly pointed out, I'm also looking at curriculum, the kind of curriculum they'll hang it. Okay. Sorry, maybe I am going to do more methods. I'm going to use
just to add.
Please, somebody stop me.
Please go ahead, sir.
No, please go ahead.
I was saying just to add to the discussions that if we look at the objective, it is clearly mentioning to measure the impact. And when they are measuring an impact or assessing an impact, and therefore quantitative method fits well rather than the qualitative method. But the point which is mentioned vis-a-vis the qualitative method by other scholars are valid. So, and therefore, but objective suggests that it is an assessment of the impact, and therefore quantitative is the best method rather than the mixed method.
Thank you, Nadim. Yes. And I just continue, in addition to Nadim, what Nadim said, tomorrow we are having a session on how to write your research objectives, how to frame research questions. My suggestion is, the kind of terminology you're going to use as a part of your research objectives. That tells the reader what kind of methodology you're going to use it. If I'm going to use terms like to understand, to explore, it says that you're going to use qualitative research. If I'm going to use words like to examine, to measure, there are a number of terms like, I think, I don't want to cover it. Tomorrow we have a good session, Professor Shashikalam Gurupur. She is a renowned scholar, which we are going to have a good session on how to frame research questions, research objectives. So for timing, thank you, Nadim. Anyone would like to add any point?
Sir, can I take you back to the example one that stated? I just want to, sir, with regard to research strategy, would it be appropriate to say that the ethnographic study should be conducted? Like this?
Which example?
Example one. Can we say that the research strategy can be ethnographic and?
What I feel that you can use phenomenology. When you talk about lived experiences, when you want to understand experience of the particular phenomena, you can use phenomenology as the right approach for that.
Okay.
And in case, as a part of this first example, if you are going to use observation method, in case there is a scope for you to observe how these particular people are, because you are trying to re-narrate the experiences of people. So I think that's why phenomenology is the right approach to you. Even grounded theory you can able to use it. Narrative analysis you can use it. But ethnography, I don't think that is the right approach in this particular case.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. Last 1 minute. If you have any questions or if you think I need to add any point, please let me know.
Sir.
Yeah, please. Check.
I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, can you just brief about example 3 to me?
Sorry?
Example 3. Can you give a brief on example 3?
Yes. Yes. Before explaining this example 3, let me take back you to here. In this particular example, I'm trying to understand how women are taking place, what kind of role they're playing it. I'm trying to understand their socio-economic profile. And when it comes to decision making, I'm trying to look at the social, demographic, political participation point. Okay. I'm trying to measure, I'm trying to look at how they are playing it. Now coming to this example, here to provide orientation training program to the women members of Panchayat Raj institutions. Means, right, for instance, this is my objective. What I'm going to do is first try to understand their social demographic profile. I'm going to list out capacities, capabilities of respective women Panchayat members. If they're not able to take decision properly, what happened? What made them? Because of they don't have proper education. Maybe they don't have proper understanding about leadership styles. Maybe they don't have basic knowledge about particular. So what I'm going to do is I'll conduct literature. I conduct study. Based on my findings, I'll come up with my intervention. Like I'll come up with some kind of training program, which will add for them to improve their skills. The skills which are required to manage their panchayat, their positions, their responsibilities, their roles. Then, secondly, first instance, I'm trying to understand what they are. Second instance, I'm providing training as per their requirement. Third one, I'm trying to assess the kind of intervention I have given to them, up to what extent it is successful. Means I'm trying to understand the efficacy of the training intervention that I have introduced, okay, which help them to enhance their participation and women empowerment in Panchayat Raj institutions. So it is again, it is a mixed method.
Yes.
Okay. First time I'm using quantitative. I'm trying to get full details about each and every women Panchayat Raj members. Then I'm coming with my intervention. Then once they come with intervention, I'm not going to have data from all the people. I'll take 10 cases. How this particular intervention helped you? What made you to, after attending this particular program, what kind of changes have been taking place in terms of decision making, in terms of understanding what particular leadership style, whatever it is.
Okay. So, sir, the research paradigm would be a phenomenological approach.
Pragmatic. Research paradigm would be pragmatic.
Pragmatic, yes. Okay.
Pragmatic.
Yes, sir. And the research approach would be a
objective logic.
Objective logic. Okay. And the methodology would be
mixed method.
Mixed method. And research strategy would be more as in
research strategy. You're going to use as you are mentioning quantitative and qualitative. The choice is yours.
Okay. Sure.
It's going to be both. Yeah.
Yes,
and
yes.
Data collections. If you are as a part of quantitative, you're going to use survey method or observation checklist, schedules. Okay. As a part of qualitative, you can choose like focus group discussions, in-depth interviews.
Yes, sir.
Observation.
Sure.
Observation can be used both as a part of quantitative as a part of qualitative. Okay. When you are using as a part of quantitative, you are going to use checklist.
Yes, sir.
Take instance, if you are visiting some Anganwadis schools,
okay,
you have already some directives. What are the basic infrastructure supposed to be there in Anganwadi schools? I don't need to interact with any people. I can have a checklist. What is there? What is not there? What is there? But if I want to collect the qualitative data, I have participant observation, non-participant observation, which is I think we are going to have in second phase about detailed discussion about what is observation. Okay. So far, is it clear?
Yes, sir. Sure. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. Any questions?
Sir, I have one.
Please, Shantanu, go ahead. Yeah, Shantanu.
Yes. Thank you, Nadi. So, sir, I just want to ask you one thing that, sir, is there any process through which we can actually convert qualitative data into quantitative data, like something like we do in our universities at IQ quality assessment in which we convert it? So, like, is there any other kind of method in which if we collect like if we conduct interview of 50 people and we ask them yes or no answers, and then can we convert it into numbers later on, then maybe draw a graph of it? And is it possible?
There are 2 points I want to answer to that. First one is whether
yes, sir,
can we convert qualitative data into quantitative?
Yes, sir. Whether it is feasible or would it be productive?
See, we have mixing methodologies. There is exploratory designs like sequential exploratory research designs. Means Initially, you're going to start with conducting qualitative studies. Like, take for instance, I was talking about menstrual cycle. There was no much. If you find out, there won't be much. Won't find much literature on it. Okay, so you'll conduct research on it. Based on the findings, you'll come to know a lot of variables are there. Now we want to test. We want to conduct huge level, large scale level. Initially, you are interested in this topic, but you don't have basic, more detailed understanding about this topic. What kind of tool you have to prepare it, because you're having hardly 5 to 10 questions. For designing to research, that 5 to 10 questions is not sufficient. So what you do, you'll interact with 4 or 5 people, maybe 4 or 5 case studies. You'll collect the data, you'll look at different patterns, you'll look at different variables. Based on that, you will build quantitative research. Means whatever you are going to build quantitative research, it will be depends on preliminary understanding of your qualitative research. Okay, so in that way, it will help you. Now, with regard to converting qualitative data into qualitative and quantitative, there are some softwares are coming up, but I don't have any much comment on it as of now. Okay, but you have mentioned qualitative data like yes or no questions. If it is yes or no, means it is not a qualitative; it is completely quantitative.
Sorry, sir, I didn't.
You have mentioned about yes or no questions.
Yes or no questions, yes, sir.
Yeah, they are quantitative, not qualitative.
Quantitative only. Okay.
Yeah,
thank you for correcting me, sir.
Sir, to answer Shantanu's question, sir, there are many softwares available on the internet.
Yes.
They can convert yes and no, the Boolean answers into graph and data analytics. So I think we can use them.
That's what I said. That there are softwares are available.
Okay. Thank you, Nikita.
Sir, I just want to add one point.
Yeah, please.
Regarding the third example.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, you're audible. Nothing. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Regarding third example, when we are doing the first stage of need assessment for the designing the training.
Okay.
So practically what I have observed that these women do not have mainly they are, as in sometimes they are illiterate also, and therefore with the help of quantitative method, a qualitative observation method also helps, that how they actually participate when panchayat take place, or say when gram panchayat take place, or when certain meetings happen, or such an event happen, and then observing the women participate, or how they are participating, what is stopping them to participate. That also help in having some assessment about the need for having training for panchayat members. So I think at this first stage also we can use mixed method, and yeah, please.
Yes, Naveen, that's what I mentioned. You see, this is how we look at it. There are 8 type of mixed methods. Okay, I feel that this is the correct, but depends on our experience. You feel that this is what you think about it. Okay, but take for instance, if I'm going to design a training, I won't collect data only from 5-6 people. I want to look at it from diverse background. Okay, because I want to include each and every person, their needs. Because I don't conduct training program particular community, particular socio-economic background. Okay, it may include denoted tribals. It may include whatever number of people. So in this case, I'll use quantitative method so that I will use sample. Well, one-time research study is sufficient for me to what kind of training I need to design it. So
right.
Yeah,
that's more practical. Yes. That's more practical. Right.
Shantanu,
regarding Shantanu's question, as in I have one point to add.
Yeah.
There are 2 things. One is to convert qualitative data into quantitative. There is another thing to quantify the qualitative indicators. Now, so if we are concerned as in with quantifying the qualitative indicator, as in there are newer methods coming up every time and again, where qualitative indicators can also be quantified using, say, various indexes, various matrices, and therefore that is possible. Regarding the reliability of conversion of qualitative data into quantitative data, there is a lot of debate. And therefore, these softwares which are available, as in the the relevance of that software is also in academic circles is not very linked. As in these days it is used, but the quality is always under doubt. And therefore, better to use quantitative method to assess the qualitative indicator, or rather than looking at converting the data into qualitative to quantitative. So that's my understanding about the question which Shantanu raised.
Yes, sir. That's what
Thank you very much.
Coming up. I just want to add a last slide. I'm going to send the material required, reading material for this course, respect to class. And some of you are asking PPT, definitely I'll share you that. And if you're looking for research onion, there's a first article that I highlighted with green color. And remaining, there is one more book, Good and Hat. You must be thinking why I'm referring 1952, but this is one of the best book. If you can trace it out in your library, we are hanging in GNLU, you already hang this book. And there is Creswell, very popular name in the field of research methodology. He deals with both quantitative, qualitative, and mixed methods. It's very popular, and you will find a lot of citations for his works. Okay? And a number of editions are there with his work. There is, as I'm coming from social work and society background, I just referred it. Though you're not coming from social work or society background, but one thing I suggest you that if you get the time, just explore this book, because why I'm telling that there are a lot of examples I've given for each methodology. Live examples makes a difference. You may be attending 3 phases, maybe a 6 months research methodology course, doesn't matter, but you need to get live examples. You need to travel with your ideas. You need to apply your ideas with the examples. Then only you can able to learn more about it. Okay. So with this, I'm just ending the class. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, you always can send a mail. You can always approach me at any time. Okay.
Hello. Sir, we have a scholar who is ready to give a vote of thanks to you, sir.
Yeah, please.
And I'm sure that there is, from our side, there is no need to give any thanks to you, because we are part of the PhD committee and we were working together throughout designing the coursework and everything. So I just convey message from ma'am, Shablada ma'am. She's not here just because she's busy with some other program. So it is on behalf of her, sir. Thank you so much for taking some time from your busy schedule and enlightening our research scholars on the aspect of different approaches to the designing research methodology. And I would like to request Nidhi Saroj to please conclude the session and give vote of thanks to sir. And I also would like to request all the scholars to be here by sharp 5 o'clock, because the next session we will have the faculty who is going to engage the session is someone from outside the university, so we cannot have we cannot delay the session. So please be here by 5 sharp. Nidhi, please, over to you. Please give conclude the session.
Before Nidhi is talking, I just want to add one point here. As I think all of you must be knowing Miss Danya, she is my colleague. I just want to tell one thing, that today you hang course, of course you hang Professor Subramanian, Professor Shantakumar, and the kind of contribution she made for this design course is really awesome. I'm sure we are coming with second phase, third phase. She played major role when it comes to designing the entire course. I'm sure you're enjoying it. If there is anything, please always give us your feedback. Time to time, we will improve ourselves. So we are ready for receiving any kind of feedback that you would like to give it us. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I take the privilege to express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Professor A.N. Rao, from our own GNLU family. The topic covered by Sir is one of the most crucial aspects of research journey. Sir took us to the different layers of the research onion and shared his thoughtful knowledge on the same. Sir dealt with research philosophy, whereby he explained to us the concepts of ontology and epistemology with the help of the theories of positivism and interpretivism. Further, Sir dealt with the research approaches, whereby with the help of examples, he tried to distinguish between the inductive approach and the deductive approach. Sir also told to us about the qualitative and quantitative methods of research and the cases whereby a mixed approach would be needed. Further, with the help of several other case studies and examples that dealt with the research strategies and research tools, the exercise further given by Sir was very much important to understand all these concepts. I once again express my gratitude to Sir and thank all the PhD scholars for their participation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.